Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope that you are fine. Today, this will be the second topic from the 12th standard, and I have decided that today I'll teach Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. Okay, so the first topic was the apple picking, after apple picking, in fact, by Robert Lee Frost, the American poet. Okay, that was one of the wonderful poems in the poetry section of 12th standard. If you still have got some questions regarding the poem after apple picking, regarding themes of the poem, you can write in the comments. Besides, one more important thing that I want my students to do is that at the end of the poem, when I complete the poem, I do analysis to the poem that I put in the description. So you can visit to the description, there you can find the analysis that will be very much helpful for you to understand the poem in a better way. Okay, so let's go through the poem today, Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. Dear students, as I repeatedly would tell you that without knowing the background of the poem, I mean the biography, some biographical points, flash points, which are very important to know, because the biography, the age of a writer has a direct impact on the literature of the writer, right? So let's see which age the poet Gabriel Okara would belong. So he was born in 1921, and he died very recently. In fact, it was 2019, last year in March, if I am right. So it's 2019 he died. Okay. So he was born in 1921 and he died in 2019. So he is the poet of our age. Okay. So if we take this age into consideration, it is the age we live in. Okay. 20th century. This is called 20th century. 20th century. And their students better what are the problems in 20th century. The most lethal problem, disastrous problem in the 20th century is that there is a clash of cultures. Okay, so the traditional way of living has been corrupted by the Western materialism, including the capitalism, with the coming in capitalism of Western civilization. Okay, it has been corrupted. The values which we would cherish, traditional values I am talking about. So those traditional values have been corrupted by this westernization. Okay, that's why it's believed that modern man is lost. He's lost. He does not know about his values. All that's corrupted. Okay, so he has lost, in fact, the innocence. Okay. So when he has lost his innocence, we can simply say that he has lost himself. Okay. So these things, can be found in the themes, in the literature of this, writer, Gabriel Okara. These are the wonderful, themes. We find these life, death, clash of, cultures, the traditional way, traditional cultures, folklore, which was included in his literature, which the African people, Nigerian people would put in their literature usually. Okay, so that could be seen in abundance, and at the same time there is a coming of the Western culture, American culture, with capitalism. Okay, so that has marred the culture of these countries, these states. Okay, for example, we could easily bring it out from one of the famous novels that goes to the credit to Gabriel Okara in writing. That was The Voice. Okay, The Voice. It was written in 1964, one of the famous novels of Gabriel Okara. So this Voice, in fact, has a clash. There is a contend, I mean a clash of cultures between a Nigerian traditional culture and the Western culture that has come into their culture. Okay, that is mixed there. That's mixed in their culture. So that could be seen in the voice of this writer. This novel, in fact, is one of the most influential novel in the career of this writer, and it's the first novel of Gabriel Okara. So besides, there is one anthology collection of poetry which also is very important as per the poet is concerned. Okay, that is the Fisherman's Invocation. I would like to mention it here. The Fisherman's Invocation. Okay, so this Fisherman's Invocation, it's a collection of poetry. It was written in 1978. Okay, and in fact the present poem, which is put in free verse, okay, it's also in free verse because modern poets would prefer to write in free verse usually. So this present poem is taken from this Fisherman's Invocation, in fact. So it's from this very anthology. Okay, so this is also one of the important point. Okay, so one more important point I would like to add here is that he was given the Nigerian Prize for Literature also. Coming to the poem, this Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara, the poem has a lot of themes, but those all themes will be put in one. That is, there is a loss of culture, there is a loss of human values, there is a loss of innocence. Okay, that the poet is actually crying for. Okay, there is a comparison between the present and the past, and the writer talks about when he talks about the past, he says that the people were pure, they were innocent, there was innocence in them. Okay, so there was tolerance, all those qualities, human values were in him. He was really the human then. We could find sympathy in him, we could find empathy in him, we could find tolerance in him, the politeness. Okay, and at the same time we could find the true picture of love in him. Okay, when he would love somebody, it was not that the love was false, the affection was false. It was the pure, it was pious. Okay, it was reflected from the eyes, from the face of the person. Okay, but the poet deplores the very fact herein when he comes to the present. He says that all this innocence has been lost. So what is the cause of the loss of this culture? What is the cause of the loss of this innocence? Okay, the cause is very much clear. The cause is obvious, that it's because of the incoming Western culture with materialism. So that has marred our living, that has marred our those values, human values. Right, my dear students, we could better understand if we go through the lines of this poem, because it's not too difficult to understand. I can tell you, the poem is very much straightforward. Okay, there are some literary devices which we must know from the poem, but I'll be discussing them later on, maybe in the next lecture. But I'll be completing this poem in this lecture as well. But there are certain things which are literary devices. Okay, so they'll be talked in the next lecture separately. Okay, like we could find in this poem alliteration. I have already said that alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sounds. Right, you could find enjambment, the run on, when the writer writes lines in poetry and there is a run on, there is no stop. The line runs in the second line without any pause, so we call that enjambment. Okay, and there is a caesura, when all of a sudden poet draws a pause in a line. Simile also is blend in this poem, so we could be discussing these things separately. So let's move directly to the poem so that we can understand the idea of the poet, idea of Gabriel Okara. He was Nigerian. Okay, he was Nigerian. We could understand him better in the line. So my dear students, I already tell you that this poem is written in free verse. This poem is written in a free words. So you could see, for example, the title of the poem is Once Upon a Time. Okay, Once Upon a Time. It seems as some story is going to take place. Okay, some fairy tale like Once Upon a Time. Okay, so look at Once Upon a Time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes, but they only laugh with their teeth while their eyes block cold eyes, search behind my shadow. If we understand these lines, if we, join these lines, okay, if we combine these lines, we can make a good paragraph of these 6 lines. This poem is written in 6 lines. There is a 6 line structure in this poem. Okay, so if we combine these 6 lines, we can make a paragraph. So that's why I earlier used this term, that some say these verses as a versagraph also. I would like to mention it once again here. It's versagraph, versagraph, when there is a conflation. Okay, conflation, when we say, it means combination. conflation. Conflation, when we say, we mean combination. Okay, combination of verses, but the verses at the same time would be taken as a paragraph. So we call that versagraph. Okay, some use for this kind of poetry, which is written in free verse, versagraph. So we can say that there are 6 versagraphs in this poem. Okay, so the lines are not too difficult to understand. You could easily make sense out of them, save some idioms, some phrases which are a bit complex to understand. For example, there is a phrase, ice block cold eyes. Ice block cold eyes. You can open up your text and you can see there in the very 5th line of the poem, you could see the phrase ice block cold eyes. So what does this phrase mean, ice block? Okay, it means the emotionless, loveless, affectionless eyes which does not reflect love, which does not show love. Okay, which are emotionless, which does not have feelingless eyes, in other words. Right? So there is one more, like, at one point the poet has used muting things. So mute means when something is put in pause, but in this context, this mute has been used as dead things, those things which are dead. Okay, so the writer actually talks, when we go through the lines, we can understand the writer actually talks all those things. Okay, he says in this line, to unlearn all these muting things, these dead things, all those things which have corrupted the very moral foundation, moral values of a person. So like this, materialism, okay, this Western culture, okay, this duplicacy of culture, right, hollowness of human values. Okay, so all these he calls muting things, dead things. Okay, so there is one more, snakes bear fangs. Snakes bear fangs. These fangs are the teeth. They are the long teeth, but they are here it is treated as the poisonous, toxic. Okay, so when somebody laughs, the poet applies it on himself. When he says, when I laugh, when he addresses to his son, show me to laugh, because my laugh seems to be very much toxic. It seems to be very much poisonous because it does not involve love, affection in it. So these are a couple of phrases which are a bit difficult, but I have made you, to pen down these, okay, to underline these. And one more, there is a confirming smile. It means suiting, okay, suiting, which suits at particular context. Okay, so these are the phrases which are a bit difficult to understand. So I have made you understand these things. I'll be reading one, versagraph first. Once upon a time, son. Once upon a time, son, they use it to laugh with their hearts. This they is very important. So when we say they, these are the traditional people. Okay, they use it to laugh with their hearts. Okay, and laugh with their eyes. And laugh with their eyes. So what was the traditional people doing? When they would laugh, when they would meet someone, they would meet him with love. They would laugh with their hearts. When they would laugh, the laugh could be reflected from their eyes. That could be reflected from their face. I mean, it was in their heart, their soul was involved in it. They were ecstatic when they would meet someone. Okay, so but this modernization, this westernization has corrupted that love, that realm of love, that field of love. Okay, and laugh with their eyes, and laugh with their eyes. That means the laugh could be reflected from their eyes, but they only laugh with their teeth. But they only laugh with their teeth. Now, what are the present people doing? What are the modern people doing? They too laugh with their teeth, but they laugh the false laughter. Their smile is not accompanied with love. Okay? It's a facade, it's a front show. It's void of that affection. Okay? It does not involve in it human love, the sympathy. Okay? The purity, I mean, simply. While their eyes block cold eyes, search behind my shadow. While their eyes block cold eyes. So I already tell you that eyes block cold eyes is that feelingless eyes. When the modern man laughs, when he smiles, the smile can be understood from the very face surface that it's a false smile. Okay, so that's why he says it's a feelingless smile. Eyes block cold eyes means it's a feelingless. It does not have love in it. Okay, search behind my shadow, and they search behind his shadow. They see towards him, but at the same time they are trying to see his financial status. Okay, they just try to see first whether the financial status of a person is okay. If it is okay, then the smile is okay. If it is not, then it's a false smile. Okay, so the poet actually wants to convey that this is the ostentatiousness of the people. I mean the show, artificial smile. The poet actually wants to convey that this is the artificial smile, that the people are smiling. Okay, the smile does not have love in it. The smile does not have joy in it, purity, piousness in it. Okay, so it's feelingless, and they usually try to see the financial status of a person. Okay, they are looking behind his shadow means they are looking somewhere else. They try to see whether the person is suitable to be laughed at, okay, or not. There was a time indeed. Yes, there were the times they used to shake hands with their hearts. So similar kind of, first there was laughter, now there is shaking hands. So it was done with heart, it was done with love. Okay, it was done with affection. But that's gone, son. But all that thing has undergone a change. That is changed completely. Okay, that's no more now. That's marred. So how that's marred? That's marred because of the westernization, because of the incoming materialism. Okay, that has corrupted those values. Okay, so but that's gone, son. That's undergone a change. So you can see, my dear students, that in present times we can see the crisis in ourselves also. So we are as per some people, some grand figures, they would easily deduce it that yes, there is a cultural war that's going on. We are not with ourselves. Okay, we have sold our bodies, sold our soul. So in other words, modern man is treated as a cartoon. How it's understood here, how it is taken here. It's cartoon, one who does not think of his own. So he has lost the capacity of thinking. Okay, so that's why modern man too is treated as a cartoon. He goes on, talking, walking, eating, drinking, that in the words of some writer, carpe diem, eat, drink, and merrymaking. This is all for the modern man. Okay, it's because of the Western culture that has been introduced in our societies, and we have embraced that. Okay, in letter and spirit. So they used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone. That's undergone a change. Now they shake hands without hearts. Now they too shake hands. They do shake hands, but that shaking hands is false. The love could not be reflected from the eyes, from the face. So it's a false handshake. Okay, while their left hand is searched behind my empty pockets. So similarly, I just tell you earlier that it is the financial status. It is the status that is being looked, that's being searched by the people. So if I am not financially okay, so, I am not financially stable, okay, I won't be treated with due respect in the society. That's the real face of a society. Okay, so if somebody is not good in finance, if his financial status is weak, he is not treated like a human in society. People even greet people because of the financial status. That's the reality in society. So what Gabriel Okara actually tells us that all these things were not in the past. The past was very pure. The tradition was very pure. Okay? So now they shake hands without hearts while their left hand search behind my empty pockets. One hand is busy with handshake and second hand, okay, that is in search of, where I can get that benefit from him. Okay? सो इज जस्ट वो मौके का फ़ायदा उठा रहा है. एक हाथ से वो हैंडशेक करता है, लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम दूसरी तरफ वो क्या ढूंढता है कि मुझे कहाँ से इससे फ़ायदा हो सकता है. सो दिस आर्टिफिशियलिटी, ओके, this artificiality has come into the human life, into the modern man. Now they shake hands without hearts while their left hand search my empty pockets. Feel at home. Look at, you could find here Kasura because there is pause, sudden pause, come again, once again pause. They say, once again pause. So when in poetry such kind of thing is done, abrupt pauses, we call it Kasura. Caesura, CAE, Kasura. Sudden pauses. Commas, simply they are commas. Feel at home. Feel easy. Feel comfortable to my home. Come to my home. Come again. Usually modern men. These are the things that the modern men use. These are the expressions that the modern man usually uses, employs. Okay, he's very much adept in such use of expressions. He's very much skillful now because he is all materialistic now. Okay, and therefore he has turned out very much skillful in using these expressions, these false expressions. Okay, feel at home, come again. So these are the expressions. Feel at home, feel comfortable to my home, come again. Usually I request you to come to my home again and again. बार बार आने की दावत देता है, but it's all false. They say, modern men, this they is the modern man, they say. And when I come, when the guest does the same, when he comes again and feel at home, okay, this Kasura can be seen in these lines. When he comes again and feel at home, feels comfortable, rests in his home once, twice, ek bar, do bar, there will be no thrice. There will be no thrice. तीसरी बार कभी नहीं. Okay, this is the hollowness. This speaks volumes about the hollowness of the modern man, hollowness of the modern moral values. Okay, so this is showy, this is ostentatious. Ostentatious, when I use it, means showy, which is for show only. So what we do, it's only for show. Artificiality has engulfed us. Okay, at once, twice, thrice, there will be no thrice. For then I find doors shut on me. For then I find doors shut on me. And what the man sees then? He says that he sees doors shut on me. When it is the matter of the third time. Okay, so it's the case for all modern men, right? So then there is no place for him. The guest is treated like this. The host has turned very much corruptive. Okay, In fact, modern man has turned very much corrupt. He has become corrupt because of the influence of the westernization and the materialism. Okay? For then I find door shut on me. So I have learned many things, son. So he too, he wants his son that he tells his son that he too has learned these things. He too has become, adept in these things. Why? Because the poet, remember this poet is the representation of all we modern people. Since we, if we consider ourselves, we too are living in a society which is surrounded by the similar kind of people. Okay? Therefore, the poet says that since he lives in such society, he has become the victim of these things. Okay? Of these muting things, dead things, this materialism. Okay? So I have learned many things, son. I have learned to wear many faces. Look at the poet says that he has become the victim of wearing many faces. He has started treating the people the way modern people treats, in an artificial way. Okay, he has become adept in such field now, in such way now, strategy now, right? I have learned to wear many faces like dresses, So there is a simile, like we wear dresses of different colors at different times. So the poet has learned to wear different faces at different times. For example, he says office face, street face, host face. Okay, when he's in the office, he wears that face. When he's in the street, meeting people, okay, talking to them, okay, he wears that face. So the people in the street would find in him the friendly face. Okay, host face. It's the face at the time of meeting with a guest. So when you meet with your guest, so you use a different kind of face. जब हमें मेहमान कोई आता है, फिर हम उसके साथ किस तरह से बात करते हैं, कौन सी ज़बान में बात करते हैं, किस लहजे में बात करते हैं. There is a politeness in our speech. Okay, नरम तबीयत के साथ बात करते हैं. And seemingly the speech at that time, the expressions are very much affectionate, loving in nature, right? So he has learned too, but the writer says here that this is artificial. He is doing this artificial. He has become adept in modern times. Cocktail face. So when he goes into the party, okay, when a friend throws party and he goes there, cocktail means party face. So what the face he has to use there, is very much skillful in that, with all their confirming smiles. Confirming smiles means, so wherever he meets, which kind of situation he is at, so he wears that face and it seems confirming. It seems suitable. It seems suitable. This is very important. So he does not find any irrelevance then, because he has learned that skill to wear such faces, right? So like a fixed portrait smile, because that smile does not change. It's a simile here, like a fixed portrait smile. It's fixed there. So similarly, the situation the poet gets involved, he uses the face which seems fixed. That's taken as the face that the poet wears. That's not treated as the artificial. That seems that face. Okay. And I have learned too. What I have learned too? To laugh with only my teeth. I have to learn these kind of artificialities. Okay, I have learned too to laugh with only my teeth. To laugh the false laughter. To laugh that laughter which could not be reflected from the eyes, from the heart, which does not have in it love, affection, sympathy. Okay? And shake hands without my heart. These lines are very straightforward, and I have to learn to shake hands without heart. I mean artificial handshaking. Okay? I have also learned to say goodbye, and at the same time I have learned to say goodbye to people. When after completing our discussion, we say goodbye. So he says, I have learned to say goodbye. Okay, in modern times, when I mean good riddance, when he himself means good riddance. Good riddance means to get rid of. To get rid of. जब हम कहते हैं कि कोई हमसे चला जाना चाहिए जल्दी, because you feel some boredom. Okay, so poet says he has learned to say goodbye. Apparently he says goodbye, but he means that the guest should get rid of. He should get rid as soon as possible. This is the way that the poet has. These are the ways that the poet has learned. Okay, good riddance. To say glad to meet you. He has also learned to say glad to meet you, nice to meet you, happy to meet you. Okay, without being glad, but he is not glad. He has not been happy. Okay, and to say it's been nice talking to you, and I have learned too. मैंने ये भी सीखा. It has been nice talking to you. मुझे बहुत मजा आया आपके साथ बात करने में. Right? After being bored, but in fact the poet has been bored. These are the artificialities that he has learned. These are the muting things. That's why in the coming lines, he would say that these muting things I want to unlearn, these dead things, which has made his spirit dead, his life dead. Okay? But believe me, son, look at, but believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be. The poet requests his son, okay, a sympathetic plea he forwards to his younger one, that he feels very much nostalgic to the things which are in the modern times, which have corrupted the modern man. So that's why he wants to his son, I want to be what I used to be. He wants to regain that past, those past values, traditional values, that love, that affection, that sympathy, that empathy, generosity, okay, that sincerity, honesty, straightforwardness, purity, piousness. Okay? And he wants to forget all. What? I want to be what I used to be when I was like you. I want to unlearn all these muting things. That's why he wants the writer, the speaker wants to unlearn. He wants to forget all those things, those corrupted things, artificiality. Okay? Impurity, he wants to forget, which has degraded the human. Okay? He wants to unlearn. He wants to forget all these muting things. Muting things, I said, dead things. All those things which have corrupted human soul, which has corrupted the modern man, like materialism. Okay? Like the false culture, the open culture, Western culture I'm talking about. Okay? Most of all, I want to relearn. So what most of all, what the things he want to relearn? Okay, to gain, how to laugh. He wants to learn how to laugh. He wants to learn that laughter which is pure, which has love in it. Okay, how to laugh. For my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. Because his laughter in the mirror shows, when he reflects his laughter, it shows snake's bare fangs. It shows the toxicness. Okay, because it's the artificial, laughter, smile. That's why it seems toxic to the speaker. So he wants to, unlearn that artificiality and relearn how to laugh the pure laughter. Okay, so show me, son. That's why he says, show me, son, how to laugh. How to laugh. Okay. Show me how I use it to laugh and smile. How I use it to. Show me how I use it. Because here we can say that the writer has lived both the times. Past as well as the present. Because he could be 60, 70, 80 years old. So that's why he could easily, deduce the things that what they were in the past and what they are in the present. He could, see the change that has taken place. Okay, that's why he says, how to laugh. Show me how we use it to laugh. It's you who can show me, okay, who can help me to make my laughter pure, to infuse in me that love, that affection, that sympathy, right? All those human values. I used to and smile. Once upon a time when I was like you. Kab? Once upon a time. In those times when I was like you. So he finds purity in his son and he wants to relearn, okay, that purity. Okay, so in other words, we can say the writer has lost confidence in himself, because of these, dead things. He's lost confidence. He does not have confidence that he can regain that past. That's why, it's very much, the tune is very much ironic in this poem. Okay, when he addresses this poem to his son, to the younger one, to make him to regenerate, okay, to regain that past, those values. Okay, my dear students, there are certain things which are very important. For example, I talked about the caesura. I talked about the enjambment. Enjambment is, put in pre-words when the line is run on. For example, when one line finishes, it does not have a pause. The second line can be, the continuation of the first line. So that's called enjambment in, as far as the literary devices are concerned. And there is a caesura when there are sudden pauses, abrupt pauses in these three verses. So you could find it here. You could find it very easily here when the writer says, when they use it to shake, feel at home, come again, they say, and when I come. So there are a lot of commas, casuras use it, and there is a simile also. There is an alliteration also use it. Okay, and assonances they use it in the poem. So all these things will be discussed in separate lecture. So my dear students, I hope that you have understood this poem. Yes, there could be certain other things which would have been worth to mention here. Okay, but I want you to go through the description box. The analysis of the poem is put there, so you can read that analysis. I hope that you can find each and everything regarding the poem. Okay, I wish you all the best.